Welcome to the Do It Anyway podcast with Maria Redman. I'm your host, Maria Redman, and I'm here to take you on this wild journey of everything fitness, nutrition, and training, and every day in between. Today, we are on episode 9, and I want to thank you. Or maybe is it 10? Maybe it's 10. I have to check my numbers. I think we're on 10 today. I've been shooting all week, so I think this week is 10. But I want to thank everyone for joining me on this episode. And as usual, thank you for all your support on the past episodes. Please continue to chime in. If you're new here, welcome, welcome. You can find this podcast on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple. And be sure to like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. So, with that, let's get into episode 10. This episode today is going to be totally about the gym. Trying to find like your own fitness facility and what works best for you. There's so many of us out here who think that like the only way is to probably go to a gym to strength train. And I'm a big advocate of strength training. And I think at some point along your fitness journey, you're going to need to get into that. But if you're just getting going, I feel like just getting off the couch and finding a place to go to and moving is going to be advantageous. So with that, I want to kind of talk about some different avenues that you can take that is not just going to the standard gym. Because after all, if you're a newbie and you're going to a gym, it can be very overwhelming. You don't really know all the machines, you don't know the movements, and you kind of just find yourself in there looking around like a lost sheep. I see it every single week, and I always feel so bad for that person because I'm like, oh my gosh, they spent all this money to join and they can't really utilize this place like they'd like to. So I suggest if you're starting out on your fitness journey, you know, maybe going to like a spin company. Like there's so many different companies out there that do spin. I think that spin classes are amazing. It gives you still that group vibe that you'd get in a gym and actually a bit more close knit, very upbeat. It's dark in there. So you're not, if you're a person that's a little bit uncomfortable about your appearance, no one's got time to really look around and stare at you. If your cardiovascular strength is not that great, you can find a bike in the back of the room and just kind of die alone, so to speak. So spin class is like, really, really cool. And I started, doing a lot of spin back in the day. And let me tell you something, there's nothing better in my mind than a good spin class with great music and great people. It's an amazing place to really connect with others and make friends. And so if you want to get started, I think spin class is a great option. Another option that's out there is to go to Zumba. Zumba's been around for a while. Now, there's Zumba, and now there's the brand new twerk classes. And I'm not sure about the twerk classes. I was skeptical on the Zumba, but you're moving, you're sweating. I don't know how much fat loss is really happening in there, but you're exercising to some degree. So if you like to hear music and you want to feel like you're in a club and you're missing the club days, you can get your fix that way. Like those twerk classes are super popular. The leader of the class is typically like this very buff guy on the mic, sweating like a slave. I mean, he's not taking the class. He's not doing the movements. So I'm really not certain why he's sweating that much, but he's sweating. So there's a little bit of eye candy in there, and they're really getting, they're getting after it, and they're twerking. So, the kind of music it's going to be on. And then I've seen slightly like a new variation, which I thought was cool because it was a little bit back from my day. And that was, they've taken the new music and they've put it to step classes. So, step aerobics was really, really popular back in the late 70s and 80s, huge, even 90s. And I see that those are starting to make a comeback with that kind of like hip hop flair that they're doing. There's a hype man. He's got his mic. So, you're going to be entertained there. And I, from what I've seen, they look very, very inviting. Like all are welcome there. Great energy, great atmosphere. So if you're interested in music and that's something that you want to get into, I think that would be a phenomenal class that you can take as well. Then there is the famous bar classes. And let me tell you something. I really don't want to recommend bar because not because it's bad. It's not bad. It's really, really difficult. And if you thought you were, it was hard for me in shape. I'm just going to say that right now. Like, I almost died. There were like 100 reps of everything. And I was like, this lady needs to stop talking. I wanted to hold on to the bar and just rest, is really what I wanted to do. But the women there absolutely loved it. And so I quickly came to understand that I probably just needed to take more classes to kind of get into that vibe. But what I saw of the other women and participants there were some men, they really, really loved it. And so, that's another class that you can take. They implement a lot of body weight movement with very lightweight dumbbells, but you are repping that thing like 50, 100 reps. Like, oh my gosh, it was insane, and doing body weight holds, and it was really, really hard class. And I did love the difficulty level, but man, yeah. So if you're going to take one of those, warning, not for the faint at heart. Don't just pop in there like I'm going to smash it today. You're probably going to get smashed. So, but that's bar. And then along the same lines, you have Pilates classes. Pilates, they're using a machine called a reformer, and they do like a lot of strength holds on it, a lot of core holds. It's a really intense class. You can make it a little bit easier with the resistance on the reformer beds to accommodate. It's pretty cool. You learn a lot about how strong you thought you were that you're really not. It was very humbling for me to go and take a Pilates class and only get through half of the class the first time. So, great class to take. It really does work on a lot of strength of the smaller stabilizer muscles that I think are uber, uber important. So, if you're interested in taking a Pilates class, I think that you should definitely dive into that and go take one. Now, with the classes that I've mentioned so far, the best way, typically most of these companies all offer like a free class up front, which I think is totally cool and you should take advantage of it. But then I'm all about saving the coins. I told you it's always about saving money. You should go on Groupon. There's typically always going to be a Groupon in your area for these different types of classes and facilities. Get the Groupon. Typically, sometimes it gives you 4 or 5 classes at a very, very discounted rate. And why I say to do this? Well, not one, only because you're saving money, but two, you can go several times and really see if that's going to be a good fit for you. Like if you're going to vibe in there with the people, all that good jazz. So go and use, I use Groupon for a lot of things actually, if I want to just test it out. That's like my sneaky little, money saving trick. So get a Groupon and then go take the classes and really kind of, see if that's going to be for you. Um, then the next thing that we have, of course, is the gym. And gyms are not all created equal. So there is a huge sliding scale when it comes to a gym. If you're a newbie, I want you to be really considerate about like, okay, I'm new. Don't go pick like a gym where there are like 50,000 bodybuilders, girls that are in booty shorts with their bellies out and they're shredded. If you're new and you have weight to lose and you're a woman or even a man, I've talked to men that deal with this, you're going to struggle with just the visuals of the individuals in that place. First and foremost, forget that you don't even know how to work out. Just looking at all those fit bodies, logic might say that one would be super motivated, but I mean, let's face it, especially women, I know how we are. We look at that and we are like, oh my gosh, I don't belong here. And you want to go hide in a corner. So I would not pick a gym that's heavily populated with bodybuilders. And those are going to be like your specialty neighborhood gyms. You'll know. Look them up, do your research, you'll know. But starting at like an Anytime Fitness or Crunch Fitness is pretty inviting actually for a large chain. I'm not a big advocate of LA Fitness. I feel like I've been to all of them across the entire United States and they are all just trash. Like even when they're in like these upper echelon neighborhoods, I'm just like, what is this? And there's always the one guy swinging from the cable machine. I'm not sure what's happening there. It's like a circus at LA Fitness. Scratch them off the list. They're just officially off. Maria said they're off the list. We're not going to LA. If you have LA Fitness, you need to cancel the membership and get out of there. Because it's a hot, crazy show. But in Anytime Fitness, I do like these are a franchise gym. Typically very empty for the most part. I don't know how they're still functioning as a service, but they're functioning. But it's going to be quiet in there. And if you're a newbie and you have weight to lose and you're a little bit, you lack self confidence about your body, it gives you an opportunity to go in the gym and not have to worry about too many people in there and feeling like you're being judged. Their machines are set up in a way with great instructions on their machines. So if you don't quite know how to use it, you can look at it. It's got pictures and words, so you're not completely lost there. I do like that they have that. Quite a few Anytime Fitnesses also now have like a sauna inside. Back in the day they didn't, but now the newer chains do. So that's really cool. So you're still getting that big gym amenity feel in a very small environment. They're 24 hours, so you have flexibility with your schedule there, which I think is phenomenal. I'm one of those people I need a 24-hour gym on my roster, period, point blank. So, and Anytime Fitness is going to be a really, really good spot. Also, looking for like your local mom and pop is going to be pretty cool. They typically have everything inside, saunas and pretty decent equipment because the owners are typically people who are really passionate about fitness. But you get a lot more of a personal feel when you go in there. They're going to address you by your name. You're going to feel like you're part of something larger when you go to a small mom and pop facility, and they're a bit more eager to assist and help. And I think that that's going to put you in a better space to get more results and feeling comfortable in getting in there. If you want to go that route. Now, when you get into any space that you pick, so I've laid out a few options here. Oh, I forgot. Let me go back. The most famous of all famous, CrossFit, right? Because it wouldn't be a workout without CrossFit. Now, disclaimer, I do have a CrossFit level 2 certification, but I have a lot of certifications, right? I'm just nerdy. If you're a newbie and you go to a CrossFit box and they don't have like a true 1 full month fundamental class that you must go to before going to any other classes, I mean, they're very serious and strict about that. Those CrossFit boxes are amazing. That's when you want to join. However, if you join one and they give you like a 3-hour fundamental class and the next day you're in the swing of things, racing a clock, you're, first of all, not going to have any fat loss. What you are going to have is a lot of injuries because that is the movements in CrossFit are extremely technical at a very, very high rate of speed. And even if you're doing like what they call the RX, which is like a lesser version of the exercise, a more simplified version, if you're new, I'm telling you, it's going to be very difficult. I've seen more injury in the CrossFit space in the last decade of me doing this profession than I care to even address. I've done so much rehab on people that have had these injuries, serious, major shoulder injuries, low back injuries, knee injuries, hip injuries. So I wouldn't say that I would make that the first place you should stop. Now, I will say this. CrossFit family environment is amazing for the most part. Like, you are welcome in there. Like, you have always been a family member. They are really close knit and they really do foster a sense of, working hard and being very supportive. Like, it's one of the most supportive environments I think I've ever had the pleasure of taking part in. But man, I mean, if I've got broken knees after week 1, I don't really care about their support because I'm at home in the bed now and they're not thinking about me. So it's just something I really feel like you should consider if you're going to go the CrossFit, route. It's very easy to do because like the workouts are written for you, right? It's like a no-brainer. It's a group workout. You don't have to think about it. It's all set up for you. Perfect. Yes, but when you're doing snatches, deadlifts, and cleans, and you've been on your couch for the last 5 years and you haven't even picked up a dumbbell, I don't think that those movements are going to be best for your body. So If you pick it, great. Just be very careful. Again, 1 month fundamental class and take it slow in there. Don't try to compete with everyone to do muscle ups in a week. Just don't. Take my advice. Don't do it. Um, I also forgot another platform that I've seen a lot across the nation, Burn Boot Camp. Took a couple of Burn Boot Camp classes, and that's just basic group training, some dumbbells, some strength, a little bit of cardio incorporated. Those are cool if you like that group environment as well. So if you like Burn Boot Camp, go ahead and be a part of that as well. Um, but now if you're in that gym space, let's say you said, okay, I want to just get straight to strength training. You need to come in there with a plan. Just saying, okay, it's Monday, I'm showing up to the gym, I've checked the box, I made it, and then you're standing there looking lost. Well, what good was it that you made it if you don't know what you're doing? Come in there with a plan. How do you get a plan? There's tons of coaches that you can hire at this point, myself, others out there, or just there's other things that you can download that have just the basic movements. You can go in Google or chat GPT, give me a very beginner, workout split, upper body, lower body for the week, and let it just spit it out for you. I'd rather you have that than coming in with nothing. This way you have some direction and guidance, and you can come in there and start to get to work and do things. Because if not, you're just going to go find the cardio equipment and get on that because it's easy to do. And that's what most people do, which is why the cardio section is always full, because people really just genuinely don't know what they're doing in the weight area. So come in there prepared. Another thing that I think would be great for you to do is meet people, talk to people. Don't be afraid to meet people. I think I'm a bit of a different breed. As soon as I see someone new in our gym space, when I'm there, I always make it my point to go over and introduce myself and make them feel welcomed in the gym, and let them know if they need any help with anything in here, just to call me. I think it's great to be inviting. So if you don't find that person that does that, but go ahead and ask. Most people in the gym are super duper nice. You do have some people every now and again that are a bit off-putting, but for the most part, it's a great community. So get some interaction with people, foster some relationships, and you might be shocked that, at some point you find yourself, that person's now your workout partner. I see it happen in the gym quite often, all the time, or girls get together making their content and all that good stuff. So, yeah, start to talk to people. Don't just come in there and be very silent and on your own, because that can make for a very miserable place. When I first started training, oddly enough, on my own, because when I started, I had a trainer for 2 years. And then he said, okay, I'm done with the hand holding. It's your turn. I started training myself and I was overwhelmed. Like at that point, I had certifications too, and I was still overwhelmed and felt like I was alone in a gym that I had trained in for 2 years. But I really never, in those first 2 years, I didn't take time to get to know many people. I was very focused. I came in, I trained with my trainer, did my cardio, and I left. How crazy is that? Don't do that. So it took me a minute to kind of foster those relationships. But when I did, it's like it opened up an entire new space and world for me, that was so different from my home life. So I want to encourage you to meet people, talk with people, all that good stuff. Also, if you need a spot, do not be afraid to ask for a spot. I am telling you right now, if you're a female, I don't even care if you're chunky, the guys will line up for the spot. They just do. It's totally fine. And they want to give you a spot, and everyone's super nice for that. So don't be afraid to ask for help too. If you're single, you might find you a man. I don't know. I'm just saying. Now, on the spotting, caveat. If you're doing like chest press with the barbell, you might want to tell the guy to back up just a little bit. Because for some reason, I don't know, but guys feel like they need to stand across your eyeballs with their crotch. So, speaking from experience, just tell them, to back it up a little bit, and you should be good with everything else. Those gym videos that you see where men groping women's breasts while they're helping them squat, I've never seen it take place. Maybe in like a LA Fitness, I can see that happening at LA Fitness. Um, yeah, but not in most other gyms. So I think you're going to be good there. Um, I also want to address if you are a heavier person, right? When I started in the gym, I was 275 pounds. And let me tell you, leggings have come a long way. Oh my gosh, leggings have come a long way. Back when I started with those leggings, there was a company called Champion out. They were so cheap. Oh my gosh, it was just a hot mess. You could see straight through the pants when I bent over. And so I was mortified every time I was going to the gym because I knew that Garrett, my trainer, was going to have me doing something where I had to bend over and all my butt cheeks were going to be showing. So, but leggings have changed and the quality of workout clothing has changed. I want to assure you though, no one's watching you, not the way you may think in your head. So I would come to the gym and I just swore up and down that everyone's eyeballs were just all of a sudden on me now that I showed up, this fat lady, to the gym. No one was watching. Very few people are paying attention to you. And if they seem like they're looking your way, they're probably hyper focused on what body part they're training. They're really not thinking about you. There's no one saying, oh, look at that fat girl. There's none of that. There really is not. Now, I'm sure, are there one or two people in a facility that behave that way? It's real world, of course. But overall, it's all in your head. Do not let that stop you from coming to the gym and doing the weird movements like the yes no machine. We all know the machine where your legs spread open and you close it. I call it the yes no machine. No one's looking in your crotch when you spread it open. Now, you might find a perv or two, but I assure you, no one's really looking like that. Most men are actually trying to avoid eye contact with you while you're doing it because now they feel awkward as well. Same thing with hip thrust. You know, you're on the machine, you're kind of popping your crotch up in the air, look like you're humping the air. Most people try to avoid eye contact. So don't feel odd about doing that. And at the end of the day, I want to empower you to know that you're in there to get a result. If you gotta, hump the air and do the yes no machine and to yield a result, then you just do it and don't worry about anyone else because this is your journey and I want you to take it seriously and get the job done. So put all of those things away. I felt them in the beginning too. I'll be honest, I had major anxiety before a lot of workouts in my car, just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And that's, where the do it anyway came from. I have a goal set. And if I don't go in here and train, I won't get to my goal. So I'm going to have to eat this fear up and do it anyway. And by the time I got to the middle of the first exercise, I was sweating so bad that I had forgotten that I was even scared. So I'm telling you right now, go in with empowerment. You don't need to be nervous. It's a very welcoming environment. Just go in there with a plan and just focus on getting the job done. Screw everybody else. Pretend like they're not even there. Because it's when I walk in there, I put my hat on. It's funny because everyone knows now. They always have a joke at the gym. They say when Maria puts her hat on, she's not talking. So that means don't even say hello because I'm not going to respond. And I'm hyper focused on what I'm there to do. I've got 2 hours to get it done. I've probably trained other things during the day, so I'm probably exhausted. I just want to get my workout done. So it's okay to come in there at times and be hyper vigilant on the task at hand. Totally fine. You see them in the lobby, say hello, but when you get by the weights, no more talking and you're just working out. So I want to just share that tidbit with you. Next thing in the gym that I want to share is if you are addicted to your phone, like if you're addicted to having to scroll all day and you're just waiting for those in between sets to pick up your phone to start scrolling, let me give you some advice. Don't. Download your music. I put everything, all my apps and everything on my phone on do not disturb, and I shut my apps off. I don't even want the notifications. Like I said a minute ago, you're there for a job, you're there to get it done. And there is nothing worse than someone sitting on a machine looking like they're not taking this process seriously when there are other people in the gym who want that same machine and you are just scrolling away. So not only is it not good for gym etiquette, but it's also not good for you. You're not getting the work done. It's highly distracting. I have seen people do one set and literally 10 minutes later, 10 minutes later start their second set. Like at that point, you just need to pack it up and go back to the house. Like the workout is over. So put your phone down. I almost hate that like now everything's on our phone, our music, all of it. I kind of wish we were back in the day with, the little iPods or nanos and all that good stuff because it was just your music and your headset and that was it. You had no phone to keep, going back to and scrolling and looking and all that good jazz. So that's that part. Now, there are also a lot of you that are influencers, whether you're in shape or not in shape. You're influencers and, you want to share your journey. Absolutely fine, amazing. I think that's beautiful. But I will say this, maybe finding a gym that's not crowded all the time to do your content is going to be advantageous for you because it is crazy at the gym I currently go to. You are dodging tripods all night long. Like they're just everywhere like a mini production. And it's not for one person, it's for like 15, 20 people. So if you're going to bring a tripod in to do your content, just be very considerate of the space around you because I think that this will shield you from some maybe bad actors that are in the gym that get very frustrated with it. I've come to the conclusion we live in a world of content creation. It's going to happen. I just walk around it. But I have seen some men get really, really jazzy with women when they're doing their, content creating. So if you're sharing your journey, maybe pick a time at the gym when it's going to be a little bit less traffic so that you can make quality content. There are some girls that I know that I follow and I look at their content they filmed in our gym. And I mean, there's no editing. Some things you just can't edit out, right? Because it's a gym full of people and there's all kind of shenanigans going on in the background that at that point, you're not even paying attention to what the poor young lady's doing. And the comment section definitely lets me know that. Like, they're like, look at dude in the back, and do you see this going on? And oh my God, this and that. Totally not what her content was about. So it also diminishes the, impact of your content. So find the gym when it's less crowded to make your content. I think that's going to take you a whole lot further. Last but not least, let's talk a little bit about cardio. Cardio is a really good tool to add to your repertoire for weight loss. If you come in and only do cardio every single day, though, your body's going to stall out. So try to fight the urge of getting on cardio equipment and making that your whole session. Mix it up. Some days are weights, some days are cardio, some days are weights and cardio. Make it a good mix so that you can get more, bang for the buck of what you're trying to do when you're in the gym. I see so many people, women, we're guilty of this. We'll come in, we don't have a plan, so we don't know what we're doing, and it's just easy to get on the cardio equipment. And then you become what we call the cardio queen. And you can count on that person to be on the same treadmill or step mill every time they come in, slogging away for an hour and a half. And the reality is, a year later, they look the same. And that is a colossal waste of your most valuable asset, which is your time. You can't get that back. So fight the urge to get on the cardio equipment and make that your only thing. Touch those weights and some cardio. And don't be afraid some days to not do cardio. I think people do way too much cardio, more cardio than strength training. And the truth is you actually burn more calories with muscle contraction than you ever will on cardio equipment. So strength training is where it's at. So this podcast today is pretty brief. I just wanted to share with you about different spaces in the fitness plane. I think, like I said earlier, pick what you think is going to be best for you in the beginning, but then start to ebb into other arenas. If you start in spin and you've got that down, and there'll be a time when you finally get sick of it, then say, I'm going to start going to group training classes. There's an amazing company here in Florida called Just Lift, and literally you come in there. She's got an amazing, set of workout on a board. I think there are several trainers there that coaches. They're just monitoring. And you come in, you follow what's on your board, you literally just lift and you get the heck out of there. Phenomenal, phenomenal product that she has over there. So start with your cardio based stuff, and as you get your feet wet and you get more comfortable, then start getting into your strength training. And maybe you go spin 3 days a week, and then you go to the, like a group training class 3 days a week. Whatever your fancy is, just kind of find what's going to make you feel at home and it's going to give you the best advantage that you have on the journey, right? Because there's no sense starting this journey and then already it's a bust because you're not getting anywhere. You don't like where you're going. You don't like the people. So figure all of that out in the beginning early on so that you can have a very, very smooth ride, because this journey is a long one. It's a never ending journey. And I don't think most of you have wrapped your head around that concept yet, that if you want to be, healthy and in shape and lose, a lot of fat, you can't stop the cycle of it. And because once you get to the level, your goal, a couple things will happen when you get to the goal. You're never happy if you're a woman when you get to the goal. There's always something wrong. There's something else. Oh, I wish I had this, and I wish, oh my gosh, ridiculous. We're never happy. So just know that that's going to happen to you if you're a woman. But once you get to a certain level of fitness, as soon as you stop, your body quickly deteriorates, and it's not a good look at all. I'm stuck in this, in this body. If I want to keep it, I have to do a certain amount of training to maintain it at all times. So the journey is a long one, and it's a marriage. Understand that you're marrying it, and understand that there's going to be times when you pop into different fitness modes and you pop back out of them. For some people, they strength train for a while and then they start going into running long distance, or maybe, medium distance. Some people start taking up, swimming. You'll have a constant ebb and flow, but just know that this journey, it's never ending if you want to keep that physique. So understand that. Find your place, find your space. LA Fitness, off the list. I do need to go honorable mention before I get off of here. Honorable mention, Planet Fitness. Honorable mention because there's thousands of them now, and there's no better gym you're going to get for $10. You will see some weird things in some Planet Fitnesses. It really does depend on the area, but for $10, who cares, right? If you're traveling, it's a great way to take the excuse off the table. I have a lot of clients that travel and they're like, oh, I won't have access to a gym. And I say, well, where are you? And I look up a Planet Fitness. I'm like, look, for $10, $30 for the week, $40, you can go be at the gym and have access to everything you need. So honorable mention to Planet Fitness. Do not throw the weights on the floor. You will get the lunk alarm. I am telling you right now because there's a couple Planet Fitnesses that I am banned from. So go figure. Just wanted to share that. But with that, this is episode 10 of the Do It Anyway podcast. I want to tell you, put away your fears and just do it anyway. Thank you for joining me. And remember, you can listen to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube. If you're watching it on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe, and be sure to share this with others who may be needing this information. And with that, I will see you all next week.